What is up, gamers? So, today we got the whole case out. Now, I could be one of those YouTubers and be like, oh, I wonder what we're going to be talking about today. What do we... but in reality, you can see the title. You know what we're talking about. You can see the thumbnail full literally. Okay, let's not play stupid. Let's not play the algorithm, whatever. Today, we have the Tom's Default. Now, this isn't exactly first impressions. I've had it for a couple of days now, but... Again, I kind of like doing these videos where it's not exactly a first impression, so I can get a little bit more of an idea without actually having a full review. So, again, this is still kind of first impressions. I'm still kind of feeling it out, thinking what I like, what I don't like. And yeah. So, let's just go over, like, basic stuff. This is the Default. It's made by Balisong. It was sent to me. I am sponsored by Thomas. I will be completely honest and transparent in this video. Don't even worry about that. So, yeah, we got that out of the way. The other Thomas knife I have is my Aragon. I love this thing. I put the live blade on it recently. It sounds like that. We'll talk about that another day. But for now, the Default. The Default's going to run you about 60 bucks. It's on Amazon. I believe 6061 channel aluminum. You either get silver carbon fiber or G10, and I don't remember what blade seal it is. I don't remember. It's on bushings, hidden Zen pin. Yeah. So, let's just get straight into it. No more dilly-dallying. We're 2 minutes in. Let's talk about how it flips. How does it feel? What's it like? Balance-wise, it's a very slight handle bias. I can imagine that it's a bit more handle bias if you get the G10, which is why I wanted the carbon fiber, because I figured that would give me a more neutral experience, which is what I wanted. So, here's how fans look. You can see there's a little bit of handle drag, nothing crazy though. A little bit of handle drag. Here's how a choker looks. And then here's a backhand fan. So yeah, normal fan, rev fan, the whole shebang. Now, it does fanning well. Rollovers, it does even better. As a slight handle bias knife, it really wants to do rollovers, and it is in love with them. Now, if you guys recall from the Thai Kraken video, I was talking about how balance and handle shape is kind of important to me. Because however a knife flips is going to be complemented by handle shape. This is very much a great example. This knife wants to do a lot of rollovers, so the handles are more blocky. Every rollover is like locked in. You know what I mean? Like these handles are not going to roll for you unless you really want them to. For example, Rev Cherry Picker, which it didn't even roll there for me. Let's try that again. Rev Cherry Picker, boom. Into bite handle because I suck. Here with it. Boom. There we go. So, it will roll for you. It's not that blocky that it won't do any kind of, like, handle rotation kind of stuff. I don't know what those are called. But, like, spine grabs, does those fine. Bam. Then, bam. Rev Cherry Picker. Like, it can do all that stuff just fine, no problem. Even with how thick these handles are, and we'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, it is a great flipper. Does all your rollovers just fine. Has you really locked in for them. There's no real movement unless you want it. It's kind of great. Ladders are the same way. It is very difficult to try and roll your ladders. What I mean by that is if, for example, I take a Kraken, and I start doing rev ladders, like that. Ugh, fuck. I'm not good at it today. Basically, there's a way where you can go from what is an inside ladder to an outside ladder while doing your ladders. It's kind of hard. It's a little difficult, but some knives are good at it, some are not. This one's not very good at it. It's very blocky. It's very thick. It's kind of hard to get the handles to spin while you're doing ladders. That's whatever. Again, it doesn't really have a problem doing other roll kind of tricks. Again, like Rev cherry pickers. I can do it on this knife, no problem. But let's talk about handle thickness, because I will say that is the biggest drawback of this knife. If you do not like thick handles, you are not going to like this. This is not for the faint of heart. Now let me show you. Here's a Kraken. Here's the default. Get these guys like kind of side by side, and hold on, wait, sorry. Line these up, please. Come on, you can do better than that. Come on. There we go. Okay, and I fuck it up. Alright, I'm just going to drop the handles, and I'm just going to hold it by one handle each. I don't care if they cling into each other. I don't care anymore. Bam. So you can see that little gap on the bottom. That's kind of the difference between them. It is kind of thick. It is a bit of a thick knife there. It is definitely noticeable. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, it's only a little bit thicker. No, it's like thick. Like you feel it. It is very noticeable. Again, it's not too thick to the point where it like impedes your flipping, but you're definitely gonna have to get used to it. There's definitely a learning period of getting used to this knife and really letting it do its thing. But yeah. Talked about a con, let's talk about a really good pro. The tolerances on this thing are disgusting. Here's tap. There's like no handle play. The tune on this thing is insane. Like, it's so nutty, so bouncy. Like, this thing sounds amazing. And in person, it has like a really nice like hollow noise. Especially when flipping. It's a very nice hollow sound. I love the sound of it. It's very, very nice. But part of the reason why it sounds so good is the tune. The tunes on these are immaculate, and it's something that Thomas has really been talking about, you know, leading up to the release of the default, is the tune. The tune, the tune. That is really what he's been talking about, and I can see why. I would definitely be proud of this if I was pumping this kind of tune out for $60 consistently. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. I would say like LDY level tolerances. Like, this is kind of insane. So now that we did another pro, let's talk about another con. This is not really a big one, but Thomas said that there was little things with the carbon fiber, like imperfections, and you can kind of see them in the light a little bit. There are some points where you can see inconsistencies in the carbon fiber, like layering problems and things like that. You can see that this scale on the bottom here is really clean, right? It's clearly one piece of carbon fiber. This top one, though, you can kind of see has a couple of layering spots, like right here. And there's another one towards the bottom-ish, I think. Or am I thinking of the other side? One of these is like really apparent with layering. Like, you can see it right here. But yeah, it's just like little aesthetic thing. It's not that big of a deal. I actually kind of prefer it like that. I like how not all the scales are perfect. It adds some nice like diversity and uniqueness to it. So I'm a fan of it in that regard. Everything's comfortable on this thing, by the way. Nothing is sharp. Nothing is jagged. Even the inside of the cutouts on the blade are chamfered. So really nothing on this is sharp, which is something that I do like to check for. This knife is very, very comfortable. There is no sharp edges, no like sharp corners or anything like that. No tip, obviously, but even these little parts right here are all rounded, so everything's nice and smooth. Bite handle indicator is also pretty smooth, but you can definitely feel it if, let's say, I do like a bite handle trap. It's definitely noticeable, but it doesn't hurt, and I like that. I like bite handle indicators like that, where it's not painful, but it definitely tells you, like, hey, you fucked up your combo. No, 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 that is bad. And there's two good ways to do it. I like the teeth one more. This is like my favorite way of doing them, because aesthetically, you don't really see it, except like the little ridges, and I like the look of the ridges, like that. And the other thing is they are a lot more apparent, and you can feel it a lot more than, let's say, like the cheese, where it has the little nub. The nub is good, you can feel it, but it's not exactly like yelling in your face, hey, you fucked up your trick. It's something that you can kind of ignore, whether on purpose or accidentally. So I like the little teeth. They're nice, they're comfortable, but they still tell you, hey, your combo is bad. Jimping. Jimping is great on this. It's not the most noticeable, but it definitely does help you. It's more of a subtle kind of jimping. Main reason for that is because the scales don't have the jimping lines in them. It's really only the scales, so it's very Nautilus-esque in that regard. The Nautilus is the same way, where it's a very subtle kind of assistance. It's not very noticeable. It's fine. It does its job. It doesn't do it as well as, let's say, like a Kraken, because Kraken jimping is just throughout the entire handle, and it's a lot more noticeable, and your fingers are going to grip a lot better. But this cut-in jimping is very, still useful. You can tell by how aggressive it is. And you can see like the lines at the end here for where the carbon fiber is not milled out. So yeah, it's good. It's just like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Jimping's very whatever to me, honestly. But yeah. I don't really think there's much else to say. Honestly, I'm just very impressed with the default. It's a very, very, very fun, good quality flipper. Literally the only thing that holds it back from being an amazing, like, budget entry, like, goated competitive option is the fact that the handles are massive. I don't even mind the fact that the handles are blocky. It's really just the thickness. That's really my only complaint about the default, because besides that, I'm really, really, really liking it. If it wasn't for the thickness, I think this would be an amazing competitive flipper even. If they didn't touch the blade at all, didn't change any of the like sizing or like the weight distribution of anything, and just made the handles a little bit thinner, it would help alleviate a little bit of that handle bias, making fans a lot nicer, while still not killing the handle bias, because there's still a chunk of material at the end. So all your rollovers would still be as sticky, but, you know, it wouldn't be as thick. So you could do everything a lot easier. And again, it would make fans nicer, etc., etc. That's really my only thing. If it was thinner, it would be better. More competitive, and I would want to pick this up a lot more often. As it stands now, it seems like it's going to be one of those pieces in my collection that I'm going to pick up to have fun, or it's going to be a little desk flipper, or it's going to be something that I'm going to pick up and be like, wow, I love the sound of this thing. I don't really see it being a consistent flipper in my collection. I don't see it being something that I'm going to pick up super often to try and hit clips with. But for 60 bucks, this is pretty fucking amazing. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think I covered every base. So that's the Thomas default. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you all around. Bye-bye. I'll give it like a little score, actually. Let me give it a quick score. I'll give it a quick score. Quick score, I'll give it like a 7.5 out of 10. An 8. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good knife. I'm dogging on it too hard because of the thickness. But I mean, I like thick knives. I'm just kind of trying to go based off like average flipper. And I know they're not going to like thick knives. It's whatever. 8 out of 10. That's my final answer. That's what I'm giving it right now. I'll come back later and do a full review of it at some point and really start going more in depth on my opinions on it. And yeah, I think next video we'll be talking about this guy and why he's all rattly. So yeah, and then I still gotta do this video, but it's whatever. We'll catch up. We got time. It's all right. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all again next time. Have a good one.